on my side. There we go.
There we go. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Aces53 with Ed Parcaut and myself. It's been a week, or actually, I guess 2 weeks since we did Robbie's event, but we're
It's been
back
a
from
while
the
since
Fourth.
we've been live.
Since we've been live. That's true, but we're back after the 4th of July week and everything else. How you doing, Ed?
I'm doing okay. I'm trying to recover from Rotary for a year of Rotary.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
so,
it wasn't like it was major, but it was you do events each week, but you don't actually put them on each week and then speak at them.
So for people who don't know what Rotary is, what's Rotary?
Rotary is a service organization, and it was established back in the 1900s by a bunch of businessmen. So basically, it was for people to get together, and I don't want to say refer business because that's not what it is. It's about giving back to the community.
Sure.
We do a lot of international projects. It's huge. It's in all these different countries. It's actually growing more now in other countries than it is in the United States.
Really?
It's in the United States. It's starting to fall off because, like in our club, the average age, 60% of our club's over 60.
I got you.
And that's huge,
Yeah.
So, and it's just getting younger people in to do more. And it's hard because it's expensive. It's to do stuff that you have to do. I mean, it costs you probably $350 a year just for the dues, plus all the other fundraisers and other stuff that we do could be another $400 to $800.
That it's interesting. I used to be in a charity that was very similar. It was very, very popular for a very long time. But what it seems to be is a lot of younger people, if they start having kids or anything like that, you've got traveling sports clubs and, you've got something for your kid every day of the week. Growing up, I had soccer and that was it. Most of the people that have kids around my daughter's age, she's 7, they got their kids in 3 to 5 things. So, I mean, Viola's got that. She's got piano one day. She does dance, she's got a martial arts going on. I don't remember that same level of busyness as a kid. Do you?
No, because we were outside all the time.
Oh, that's true too.
We did other things.
People don't
let kids outside now. There's a problem. If they go outside, they could be taken.
That's right.
It's a totally different world. It's not really a totally different world. It's just now we see it constantly on social media and the news and everything else. That's the difference.
Amber alerts on your phone. Yeah.
Vietnam War, when there was going on, it would have to be videotaped with their, the reel to reel, whatever they called it back then. Yeah. And then it would have to get shipped to the news station, developed and put, so it would take a lot longer. Now it's instant. And that's the difference.
I may have shared this story before. When I was a little kid, we had a sitter, just a lady in the neighborhood who took care of a bunch of other kids. And I saw a girl get kidnapped, and it turned out to be by her dad right in front of us. We were all kids playing in the front yard, jumping in and out of a swing or out of a tree. It was her turn to jump out. She jumped out. A car came pulling up, grabbed her, and took off. And to your point, no one would know about any of that today because there's no or back then there was no Amber Alert. It was her dad. They found her. Everything was fine. But you only saw the news at what, 8 in the morning, 5 and 10?
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Versus having the 24 hours. And
Ted Turner
now we're going off on a different tangent, but yeah.
Ted Turner started that 24-hour news with CNN when CNN was good.
Yeah. Well, that's why I like Anchorman 2. It's the ultimate parody comedy, but it's true. Like they're like, oh, well, let's just keep following that car because we don't know what else to do to fill up time. So
and they do that to this day. They just keep talking. Yeah. Well, this fire that's going could, and it's like, okay, you showed the fire. Let's move on.
Exactly. But I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. So Rotary, you finished that. Your term as president is done now. What were some of the things that you did differently when you got a chance to come in and make a few more decisions? Like you mentioned on previous podcasts, the fire walk, for example.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the things, but my year was going, I'm different. So I re-looked at everything we were doing and how we could do it better. One of the things was communication. We put in high level as our communication. Ralph put it in through our whole system. So that increased the amount of people showing up to the events that we put on and different things were put on because we reminded the veterans, reminded the Rotarians about the events that we put on. I did more outside of the actual meeting get-togethers than we had ever done.
Yeah.
And that helped out a lot, bringing people back to the club. And my goal that year was two things: get us to know each other again,
Mhm.
and
Right.
also do more for veterans in our community and the awareness of PTSD and veteran suicide. And that was
Gotcha.
my goal. And so that's what I did throughout the whole year. Plus, my other thing was we have an hour meeting.
Mhm.
Time is precious to us. I will not go past 8 o'clock. Period. It is
Mhm.
done at 8. Period. I am not going to waste your time at all. And that
Got
was
it.
my big push. People don't understand that in the first few meetings, but then they got it, and then they're like, "Okay, I like what you're doing." So,
Mhm.
but I mean, we I we at the end of the year, we were like, usually there's the conference for the end of the year. The district conference is in the middle of the month, not the end of
Mhm.
the month.
Mhm.
And so usually you get your awards and you talk about your last meeting if you had any. I put in for 5 different ones and we won 4.
Wow.
Yeah, so of those 5. So we won the bear with me here, vocational cert for a large club. That's the other thing. We are not a large club. We're only 70 some people. We are a medium-sized club, but they
Mhm.
pushed us into a large club for all these awards.
Nice.
Not really. Those large clubs have like twice the amount of people to 3 times the amount of people. So
Yeah.
they have more volume of people, more volume in this. But I don't want to cry, but so we won vocational service
Mhm.
club large because of all the I did these things called 180s, which each meeting we spoke about, one person spoke about what they do and who they are. So we got to know each other again. And we did at least 75 of those for the whole year. That
Got it.
helped us win that one. The other thing I did was with Ralph Carrasco putting in Go High Level through all of the Rotarian stuff we do, that increased. So that was club service. Plus, we had
Mhm.
more get togethers, more of this. So we won club service, large club. Then we won. Again, it wasn't about winning these awards. One of the big push that I had this year was to do the fire walk for veterans through
Mhm.
Rotary and just to get that word out. We're doing it again May 3rd, 2025. So we won Create Hope in the World, which
Mhm.
is something that was a new thing this year that you put in for that. What did you do to create hope in the world? And that was what we did with that. So we won that with a large club. And then we won most outstanding category for a large club. So of all the clubs.
For people who may be listening, why
It's
are
kind
we
of boring,
recapping
but
this?
anyway, yeah.
Well, but it follows in with what we left off with the first half of last year, and that's something that we'll talk about here in a minute. Is we are in the second half of the year, but we talked about it takes masterminds, it takes groups, it takes creating community to really what's going to matter and what's going to make a difference going forward. Because now, take this is a shot in the dark, so bear with me while I talk about this, but it's kind of why doctors' offices had to pivot to teledocs. Why? It's easier for everyone. But now you still need, okay, why do people want to come into the office? So you've got to look for those. What are you doing to stand out? There's so many different things that people can join this day and age. So you have to keep things fresh and exciting. And it's hard because, as you mentioned, it's been around for so long. That's where a lot of events, masterminds, things get stuck into that. Oh, well, that's the way we've always done it. And they try to just keep repeating a process, and what happens is people slowly fall off because they're thinking, well, I already know this. Why should I come back?
Right.
So the fact that you introduce new things is what helps bring along new members and keep existing members at the same time.
Right. And going forward, that was the first year we made major changes and we pissed people off.
Hmm.
People who controlled certain things that didn't want to give up the control of certain things. And that was one of the problems. I did everything that was best for Rotary, not what was best for me.
Right.
Because what was best for me was not to be president.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like, I've been in it since 2006, and people ask me, why did I join? It was to get to know more people in the community
Hmm.
and give back. But by giving back, you then eventually, selfishly, you get stuff from it.
Yeah.
I've done more business through my Rotary Club than any of the other stuff I've done, but I've also done a lot of good. But that wasn't the purpose of it. A lot of people who go into these service clubs, Lions, Elks, those kind of things, to get into business, and the Rotary
Hmm.
is one of them, but I just was throwing some other ones out there.
Yeah.
You won't last. You'll
Right.
last maybe 6 months to a year because you're going to go, I'm spending all this money and I'm not getting anything. You don't understand. You are getting back. You just don't understand what you're getting back.
Sure. Well, there's numerous ones where somebody comes in and they join just to throw business cards like ninja stars.
You get
And
that a lot with politicians,
yes,
people running for office.
politicians.
They come
Uh,
in, they join, they run, and then once they win, then you don't see them again.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's several events here in Dallas that people have, and
There's
you've
a
got
lot, dude. I see so much more coming. It's ridiculous.
yeah, I think just center of the country, but even local ones that they have, you'll see the people who come in, tons of business cards. They're not trying to figure out how can they help someone, but just what can people do for me? And those people burn out very fast, and they get a bad reputation very fast. So not just if you are hosting or creating a mastermind, but really what we've talked about before is what's your purpose in going? Have an intent, and that intent shouldn't just be I'm going to walk away with X amount of new clients, but who can I help? What can I provide for people? And that's, you know, we've talked about this and kind of beat this horse to death, but every day I see a new article about, are you familiar with the great unbossing that's going on right now?
Mm-mm.
So the great unbossing, and we'll have to do a whole separate episode. Maybe we'll do
Basically,
this.
get rid of your boss.
Well, no, a lot of companies in 2024 are laying off middle management. And so they're calling it the unbossing. So they're keeping the people at the top and they're keeping the workers. But all the people that they convince, hey, you need to be a difference, come join middle level management, have been cut due to the economy and due to,
That's nothing new.
But the amount that's been done in just the first half of 2024 is equivalent to like the great resignation. Remember that back in 2022, I think.
Well, it started
It's
in
the same.
2020 through 22. Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole time people just started doing something else.
Right. When people didn't want to go back to the offices, things of that nature. So that's what they're calling the first half of 2024 is the great unbossing, because all of a sudden people are showing up to work and their direct leadership is gone. And so it's becoming so frequent. Like you said, it's always been happening, but the amount of large companies it's been happening to, I know several companies in Dallas just went through a round of layoffs. And again, they kept the people on top, they kept the people below. But if you were a mid-level manager, you were gone, because they looked and said, well, we can keep all of our buddies at the C-level suite, and then we can still have the people who do work. And it's crazy because I knew some of the people I was surprised were affected by that bill out at ridiculous amounts of hours, per hour to a client. But they go, yeah, but their salary's higher than somebody else. So going back to what we started talking about is how do you stand out? What are you working on your soft skills? And soft skills include sales skills.
Mm-hmm.
Are you selling yourself all the time?
In a good way.
Yes. Like letting people know what you're doing, not pick me, but what are the reasons
that
whole, pick you?
Yeah, I'm sorry, the whole embossing thing, that's nothing. I mean, that goes on forever. When economies are really great, that's when they put in middle management to help support. When things slow down, the first thing they get rid of is middle management. I saw this last year because, I was just playing around. My wife goes, do you want to stay in this industry because of what it's done? And it's like, I don't know. It's beat the heck out of me for the last year. So what do I need to do? So I went through and had, talked to a bunch of headhunters and everything. And I noticed that all, because there was one job, I was like, this is a fucking amazing job, be perfect for me. But they still haven't hired it.
Yeah.
It's still there. And I saw that and I was like, wow, okay, what else is doing this? So I researched it all through Amazon, because they have all the, not Amazon, LinkedIn, where they have all the job stuff and they have all that middle management. They're still sitting there. They're still deciding not to do certain, and they just keep saying, well, you're not the right person for the job, and they keep it open. Well, they had to have one person that was right for the job. They're just trying not to fill it because of no one knows where the economy is going. There's such uncertainty with what's going on right now, especially this is political. I mean, with the whole Biden thing, after the debate, everybody was like, oh, he really is like that. No shit. It wasn't fake stuff. And how do we do moving forward? And I was talking to somebody else. I started rewatching the Designated Survivor series. Did you ever watch that?
No.
Did you ever even hear about it?
No, I don't know what that is.
Kiefer Sutherland is basically, he was the HUD secretary, and he was put as a designated survivor when they had the huge event at the White House. And then everybody dies, and now he's president.
Right.
And the stuff he goes through and all the stuff, I'm like, this shit is what's happening now. They did a whole 25th Amendment thing trying to take him out at a certain point because his wife got killed. And so he was going through counseling, and someone, took that information and put it out there. And so they're like, ooh, he's unfit. So just like I'm going, man, this shit, you can't make this shit up.
We just live in interesting times.
Yes.
But back to your point, I'm seeing a lot of people, we talked about this before the break. People are dropping prices on tickets. People, used to be a big, hey, we're going to do early bird pricing. And I don't see people increasing pricing. because I don't think rooms are getting filled like they were, because as you said, people are saving their money. I saw an article yesterday come across that said a lot of parents don't have the money to take their kids on a summer trip this year. So you are seeing a lot more road trips versus airfare. And you and I have talked about this, I think, offline, but hotels are the most expensive part right now in some of the places. Go to Nashville,
Food,
you can get to Nashville for like $200, but $400 a night for a hotel. So
food's expensive.
yeah, food is definitely
I
expensive.
mean, guy was on TV, and it was like a Sprouts, but or one of those type of places, and his bill for for a week was $600. People are
Yeah.
like, "Why are you buying the brand name?" He goes, "Because I'm worried about later when they find out stuff's in the non-brand stuff, and it kills your kids." So
That's interesting. I did see a video. Of course, you never know what's real, what's not. But a guy
this is on
said
TV, yeah,
he,
so it's gotta be real.
yeah, this guy said he tried to reorder his Walmart order from 2 years ago, and what used to be $144 was now like $400. And he
That's
showed
really
the screenshots of how much it had changed, just because it's everything sneakily sneaks up on you. But anyway, we're out to help people, not talk about how
we're
to
not
grocery shop and
political.
everything.
No, but
Yeah,
long story short, you were talking about how things are more costly these days.
yeah,
Airfare, everything is more costly to a certain point, right?
yes,
But I mean, and that's even when we talked about this, I think a couple weeks ago, not on here, but we were talking. I don't want to go to any events that's out in Florida from this West Coast. It takes too long to get there
yeah.
for me.
Well,
So
that's since we both know Steve Sims just announced the same thing. He said this will be the last East Coast speakeasy that he does, because traveling across there, it's just too much. And, a large following is West Coast. There's not that big of a following from East Coast. And
oh, really?
well, I don't think there's that many. Think about all the people
Yeah,
we've met, right? But he just said for him and flying his team and his family down, that's what, 5, 6 hour flight. Isn't that how long it was for you to go to New York that one
it's
time?
at least 6 hours. Yeah,
Yeah. So it's like, why not just go to Europe for that? But yeah, so
it's
he
Europe
announced,
12 hours. But anyway,
yeah, but he announced, no, this will be his last East Coast speakeasy.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was looking at where can I go easier? Well, Las Vegas is easy for me. Dallas isn't so easy for me because I got to go
Mhm.
one other place and then hop over.
Right.
There's no direct flight to Dallas, so
Even though there's 2 airports here, I know on, you know,
I have to
some,
look at it again. The last time I looked, I had to go to yeah. So I'll double check
yeah,
again.
double check it, because I know sometimes if you can't get into DFW, you can get into Love, and they're not that far apart. So, because Delta has a few different flights, and then Alaska Airlines goes into Love. I know that because somebody was just in from out of town. Um, Another point I want to bring up for people today is, 4th of July just passed, but that's
What?
officially kicks off, I know, the second half of the year. And a good question, I went to a mastermind over 4th of July weekend, and one of the exercises that they had is,
I was
hey,
wrong. They actually fly SFO to to Dallas, but
yeah, but it's tough. Oh, are you still there?
I'm still here. I just said I
Okay,
don't want to. You're breaking up one of
I
the
got it.
days. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so the event we went to with Brad Sumrock, that was one of the exercises, was what is your goal setting? Because a lot of people are great about doing it in January, but they don't do kind of that true up and where are you now that we're halfway into the year. And so that was an interesting exercise they went through, and I'll share that one with you later on. Maybe I'll dive into it in another episode. But are a lot of people looking at where they are, and are they going to meet the goals they set in January by this December? Or if not, what's their plan to pivot or change? So it's interesting. I never did that as an employee because I was salary. Oh, look, my salary's this. My I was in sales. So my compensation plan ran through the calendar year. I never looked at things other than, I guess I was looking at, am I going to meet my sales numbers? But I didn't look at like what can we do differently as often as now owning a business I do, because now it's one of those things of you have a way to directly impact things. But are people doing that for their health goals, for everything? So it was very interesting because it was a small group of people at a big freaking house. It was awesome. It had 2 bowling lanes. It had a pool with its own lazy river. I mean, Brad picked a really cool spot.
And where was it at?
It was in Reunion, Florida, outside of like Disney World and all that. And but
So
it
it
was a
wasn't
cool
humid
house.
at all or hot.
Actually, it was cooler than it was here in Dallas. So that's the crazy part. But unfortunately, it rained. But you know what? If you're going to be somewhere that you'd rather be outside, if it rains, then you're like, oh, okay, I'm okay with being stuck inside. And like I mentioned, they had a half basketball court, bowling lanes, you name it. So there were activities for us to do while we were there. But it was interesting because then people started looking again of like, oh yeah, in my business, I have monthly or quarterly goals, but for my health, I didn't think to redo it every 6 months. So he did give us some good exercises for that. And there was some other interesting presentations on multifamily investing. And then, how do people look to qualify for different like business deals that they're going through. And what was interesting about the attendees are a lot of them are business owners who then invest in real estate as well, or they are employees. One guy works for Boeing, and then other people own their own business. So it's interesting to see all these different dynamics come together. But yet, even though there are different industries, different types of, are you employed, or are you employee or employer, you name it, people still have a lot of similar struggles, wants, and needs.
Yeah, everybody has. I mean, if there wasn't, wouldn't be so many coaches out there, or people who think they're coaches.
Well, that's an interesting point. I was listening to a book that said, if you have a coach on anything, remove it. Say consultant, do something to stand out, because coach is so nebulous now.
Yeah, everybody's a coach.
Yep.
And that's one of the things I even put on there: no gurus, no coaches, no nothing on my pod match, and they still try to come through.
You mean, well, you didn't say they had to learn how to read.
It's the last thing in bold. Don't even apply. Because the thing is, that's not what I want. Don't want to talk to somebody who, and I had one guy, I argued with him, and not argued. I stated in the podcast, I was like, I don't know how you got on here, but I'm against having coaches on my podcast. And he actually changed the conversation. That was really good about why it was important for him to be there.
Ah, there you go. See, don't take no for an answer.
Wow, that's shocking.
Yeah.
No, I was looking at a text from somebody that was in my club. They're no longer the big person at a certain thing now. They decided to move on.
Oh.
Yeah, shocking.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, what about
I bought the new watch, Apple Watch. So.
Oh, did you?
Not I don't know what it's the 9 or whatever it is. The Ultra.
Yeah, the one that lasts. I was going to ask that if you got the larger one or not. Yes. I've been debating that because I happen to charge this thing every freaking day.
Yeah, my other one would last 7 hours.
It's because you're so active.
No, it's just because it was so old. I think it was a 4.
Yeah.
Because I don't update just to update. I needed, and my wife was like, check this out. We were in there, and I'm like, that's a good idea. So I bought it here locally, so I didn't have to pay almost 10% in taxes.
I do phones every 2 years because the cameras get so much better and the storage gets cheaper. So I think I've got a 13 Pro now. So I'm waiting for this one to show up this year. Let me see, what do I have right now? I have, 13 Pro. So this year will be 3 years. So it'll be time to upgrade the phone.
Yeah, 15s and 15s. When we went from Verizon to AT&T, they gave us updated phones.
I only keep 54,000 photos on my phone, so.
Well, they stay if you do the cloud, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's what I end up bumping everything to. Well, now I just need one with creating so many videos that, I'm popping out. I'm trying to get better right now of, if there's downtime, I'm trying to post twice a day, to join, but still at least get one video out there. So trying to pump out more and more videos each day.
Remind me to talk to you about what I came across. I don't want to put it on here about what some people are doing.
Got it.
All right. I mean, we really didn't talk about, what I guess basically what we were saying today is relook at what you're doing, see if you need to make some changes to your business, your health, everything is what that's what I took from you, what you said today. For me, the people asking, because being the president of Rotary is like more than a part-time job. So the question is, what are you going to do with all that extra time? I'm focusing on my affiliate stuff and get all that back into place again, the way I want it, and a few other things, get my email marketing back the way it should be.
Yeah. Ooh, that reminds me. I just thought of a joker we should have on, talk about affiliate marketing stuff. Okay. So we can reach out to her another day.
Sounds good. You want to go?
Yeah.
We got somebody on Thursday yet?
Nope, not yet. But
we always do somebody. We'll have somebody. It's just people like, oh, I don't know,
Everybody's trying to get back into the groove. You know, that having the 4th of
it
July
is
in the middle of
July.
the week.
Yeah, it's July. And that's, to me, I didn't even want to work this week. I
Yeah.
didn't want to work last week either. So
I was
I took
useless
Wednesday
yesterday till about
off
Yeah.
Wednesday on. And the problem is, as I was leaving for our cabin, everybody's like, hey, I want to write an offer. Can you give me an update of this? It's like, of course. Can we
Yeah.
plan another trip for this week so I can get busier? Yeah.
Well, I think everybody's just that's why today, like you said, we just kind of drone back and forth. Everybody's trying to get back into a groove after such a long time off. So
Well, you shouldn't take that much time off. You should be in your
Agreed.
groove. Your groove should be going whether you're there or not. You should have that in place to where you don't have to be there, period.
That's why we gotta have Manoj and the AI.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate you all. Thank you, Brian, for being here today. I appreciate you guys for watching. And if you can just go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, we'd appreciate it. That Aces53. And we'll be back on Thursday. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, everybody. Bye, Ed.
All right. Bye.